Hello and welcome to another video with the Bearded Tech Guy. In this video we will be taking a look at the EnGenius ECS1008P Layer 2 Cloud Connected Gigabit Ethernet Switch with PoE. Please take note that while EnGenius did send me this switch to take a look at, the thoughts and opinions in this video are my own without any outside influence. Inside the box you'll find the switch itself, power supply, wall mounting hardware, rubber feet for desktop installation, and a quick installation manual. The ECS1008P is an 8-port switch that supports PoE on all ports with a PoE budget of 55 watts total across the switch. All 8 ports are 1 gigabit speeds and it can be managed locally via web GUI, or if you want to use cloud management, you can use the EnGenius Cloud as well for management with both a mobile app and desktop portal. The switch is fanless, which means you can easily place it on a desk without it being a distraction, and don't forget it does come with included wall mounting hardware as well if you need to mount it to a wall. To my knowledge, there is no rack mount kit, so you'd have to buy a shelf for it if you need to put it into a rack. Setting up the EnGenius switch is pretty straightforward and can be accomplished through the local GUI interface, the web cloud interface, or the mobile app. For this switch, I decided to use the mobile app for the setup. Setting up a device through the app is pretty straightforward. Once you have your organization created, you can click on Register Device. From here, you'll get a pop-up asking for the camera permissions on Android if it's your first time registering a device through the app. After permissions are granted, you'll next scan the QR code on the bottom of the switch. When the switch is successfully scanned, you'll get a confirmation providing information about the switch, such as the model and serial number. You can record this information if you need it, and then when ready, click on Register. After doing so, you'll get a confirmation page indicating that the registration was successful and giving you the ability to give the switch a name. After you're all set, click on Assign to Network Site. Now, to move on to the next step of the onboarding process. If you have multiple sites configured, you would normally be able to select here. But because I only have one configured currently, I'm not given an option and it is assigned to the only site I have configured. A network site is a template scope used for configuration and monitoring. When a device is assigned to a site, that device will be provisioned based on the template settings configured for the network site. In addition, any changes to the site's templates could be pushed down to any devices configured for that site. Clicking on Next will bring you to a new screen that will direct you to plug the switch into power and the network if you have not done so already. You can now click on Finish Setup to exit the onboarding process. After the switch is onboarded within the app, it can take several minutes for the switch to communicate with the EnGenius Cloud and pull its configuration down. At some point after onboarding is completed, the switch firmware will automatically be updated. To my knowledge, there is no way to control when a firmware update can occur within the app, and there is no way to force a firmware update within the app as well. Not being able to schedule firmware updates is a big miss in my mind for a cloud-connected switch, as you really need to have control over when a device will go down. If you want to know what version the switch is on, you can see the current running firmware version from the device detail page on the mobile app. From the device detail page, you'll be able to find the port status for each individual port on a switch, which will indicate if the port is up or down, the speed that the port is running at, if the port is configured as an uplink, and if PoE is being provided across the port. You can click on each port here to be brought to the individual port configuration page if you'd like. Below, you'll find the VLAN information and configuration page for the switch. From here, you'll see what ports are tagged for what VLANs, as well as the different VLAN names. You can also configure VLAN settings here if you want. Under VLAN settings, you'll find the port settings page. Here you will see basic port state, and you can also go into the port configuration from here as well. Under port settings in the mobile app, you'll find PoE usage information. This will show you at a quick glance how much of your PoE budget is being used, and you can expand the utilization to see which port is using how much PoE. You'll find under the PoE usage section something called PoE scheduling. This allows you to schedule when PoE is enabled or disabled on a port, as well as when to do a PoE reset on a switch port. You can make schedules for each switch port or bulk edit the ports. This feature is nice, as if you have PoE phones at a location, you can have most of them off when no one is in the office. You can also do the same for other PoE powered devices that might not be needed all the time. This feature can also come in handy if you have a PoE powered device that needs to be rebooted every so often. Scheduling a PoE reset will take care of that for you automatically. Under the PoE settings, you'll find some additional basic IP information for the switch and the configuration options for several different settings, such as spanning tree protocol, LLDP, a voice VLAN, QoS, IGMP snooping, and jumbo frames. Real-time meters will show you the CPU usage and memory usage for the switch, which could be a good tool to have if you have to troubleshoot an issue with it. You can also turn off the LED lights on the switch if you want to for some reason. The mobile app does have other features, but if you only have a switch, then they will not be too useful for you, as they are meant to be used with the EnGenius wireless access points. I think it would have been nice to be able to get some of the client information shown here from the switch, but as of the time of this recording, that is not shown here. There's a dark mode available for the mobile app on Android if you like as well. Overall, the mobile app is helpful for onboarding a switch on site and some quick status checking or basic configuration changes in a pinch. With that said, there are a few issues I had with the mobile app that makes me feel the mobile app isn't a good tool for overall management of the switch. One annoyance is that I have to log in every time I open the app. I'm not sure if that is because I used Google Login, but it is a bit annoying. I also had a few issues getting VLAN configurations to work when doing them through the mobile app. So with that, and the limited configuration options, I think it's best to make the bulk of your changes in the desktop cloud portal. Within the desktop cloud portal, you'll find that similar to the mobile app, you can see a heads-up display of your network, which isn't going to be too useful if you aren't running EnGenius wireless APs as well. You'll also find similar information about the switch, PoE usage, and VLAN settings as well for the specific switch. On the desktop portal, you are able to configure a firmware upgrade schedule. This allows for you to select the level of code to install, force an upgrade now, and set when maintenance windows are allowed for automatic firmware updates. You'll also be able to configure some alerts as well for if the switch goes offline, which can be helpful. As you can see, there is a bit more advanced configuration possible through the desktop portal, which is helpful, not to mention it is just easier to make changes with a keyboard or mouse compared to a touchscreen and a tiny on-screen keyboard. You can also open a support ticket right from the desktop portal as well, which is helpful. EnGenius also has a Pro license that can unlock additional features for both switches and APs. Everything I covered in this video is covered under the basic license, and each device comes with a free 1-year Pro license. The Pro license can be helpful for multiple SMB customers, but may not be required even in that use case. So I recommend taking a look through the differences between the basic and Pro licenses to see if you would actually need a Pro license or not. I'd like to know if you have a network switch in your home, or if you support any SMB customers with their networking needs, so make sure to let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up as it helps YouTube know that it should be shown to other people, and if you aren't already, consider subscribing to the channel and enabling notifications to be one of the first to know when I release other videos just like this one. Thank you for watching.